continuing education certificate will be available to download from the file share box. We are recording today's webinar, and we will be posting the audio from the webinar along with the presentation and the Q&A on the Project PA website, and you can look for that in about a week. And now, if you just bear with us for a second as we pull up our presentation. And I will turn it over to today's presenters, and they are from the Pennsylvania Department of Education, Division of Food and Nutrition, Jenny Edmondson and Kathleen Hiltwine.
Thank you, Elaine. Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're really excited to share with you the newly updated HUSSC that now incorporates smarter lunchrooms techniques and wellness activities based on up-to-date regulations and guidelines. Over the past years, 44 schools in PA have been awarded the HUSSC, and now with the relaunch of HUSSC Smarter Lunchrooms and our new Smarter Lunchrooms in PA initiative, we're hoping that more schools will decide to take the challenge. We'll get started with an overview of our presentation. During today's presentation, we'll describe what the HUSSC and Smarter Lunchrooms movement are, and we'll provide an overview of the 4 possible award levels and their respective application components. We'll then take a closer look at each award level by breaking down what's required for each one, and we'll conclude the presentation by providing some helpful resources in completing an HUSSC application and answer any questions you may have. Because we'll be breaking down the presentation by award level, if you need a reminder of which award level we're on as we go, it's indicated at the top right-hand corner of nearly all slides. Because the applications for the Silver, Gold, and Gold Award of Distinction award levels are the same as or build upon the Bronze application, you'll notice that the later slides will indicate when requirements are identical rather than us repeating the information. Okay, so what is the HUSSC? In 2010, Michelle Obama introduced Let's Move, incorporating the HUSSC into her campaign to raise a healthier generation of kids. HUSSC is an award the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, intended for schools that go above and beyond federal requirements within the entire school nutrition and wellness environment. It's a voluntary program that provides well-deserved recognition and financial rewards ranging from $500 to $2,000 to schools that choose to take steps to encourage kids to make healthy choices and be more physically active. All schools or school districts participating in the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program have the option to apply. The HUSSC was relaunched last August to incorporate smarter lunchroom techniques and is now called the HealthierUS School Challenge Smarter Lunchrooms. For those of you unfamiliar with the Smarter Lunchrooms movement, we'll discuss that in a few minutes. But the goal of the HealthierUS School Challenge Smarter Lunchrooms, or HUSSC, is to improve the health of the nation's children by promoting healthier school environments. To help meet this goal, the HUSSC awards schools that have made above and beyond changes to improve the quality of the food served and to provide students with nutrition education, physical education, and opportunities for physical activity. Schools awarded the HUSSC retain that award certification for 4 years. USDA does require that winning schools maintain the nutrition excellence, physical education, and activity opportunities and other criteria for excellence standards indicated in the application for the 4 years of their certification period. Okay. With the relaunching of the HUSSC in August came several changes to what was required of schools that apply. These changes include no longer requiring applicants to submit menus, and for those of you out there who are reluctant to apply for an HUSSC in the past because of the menu documentation requirements, I'm sure you're cheering at this news. Requiring a certain number of Smarter Lunchrooms areas of opportunity, which we'll also refer to as Smarter Lunchroom action items. Demonstrating compliance with the Smart Snacks in Schools nutrition standards for foods and beverages sold to students during the school day. Requiring all applicants to be registered as a Team Nutrition or TN school, and also to specifically include team nutrition resources for nutrition education when available. And lastly, offering additional options for applicants under the Other Criteria for Excellence category that we'll go over with you shortly. Okay, now what is Smarter Lunchrooms? For those of you who listened into our Smarter Lunchrooms PA webinar a few weeks ago, you already learned a lot about Smarter Lunchrooms from Kate Hoy, our presenter for that webinar. If you missed it, you can access that recording on the Project PA website, www.projectpa.org. The Smarter Lunchrooms movement was started in 2009 by the Cornell University Behavioral Economics and Child Nutrition Programs, or otherwise known as the Ben Center, with the goal of creating sustainable, research-based lunchrooms that guide smarter choices. The Ben Center has developed a set of best practices that have been shown to help encourage kids to make healthy choices. And by using environmental cues such as better product placement and using creative names for healthier foods, these practical, research-based techniques increase student selection of healthier items and reduce plate waste. Their mission is to equip school lunchrooms with evidence-based tools that improve child eating behaviors and thus improve the health of children. What is especially exciting about Smarter Lunchrooms is that the ideas are really simple, sustainable, and mostly low or no cost. To determine where changes are needed and where areas of opportunity exist within your lunchroom, a Smarter Lunchroom scorecard is used to assess the cafeteria in 6 different categories. And those categories are fruits, vegetables, entrees, milk, sales of reimbursable meals, and school synergies. You will complete the Smarter Lunchroom scorecard, and you'll submit it with the HUSSC application for each award level. We'll take a look at what this scorecard looks like on the next slide, and the scorecard is also included in the handouts at the top of the page, as Elaine mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, and the link to the scorecard is also provided in the resources slide at the end. All right, the Smarter Lunchroom scorecard is what you see on this slide. It provides instructions for completing the scorecard as well as definitions for important words referenced throughout the tool. All action items are separated into their respective categories. For example, you'll find the action item, at least 2 types of vegetables are available daily under the Promoting Vegetables and Salads section. When preparing your HUSSC application, you'll go through the scorecard and indicate which actions you're implementing by checking the box next to each item. If you find that you're short of what is required for the award level you're applying for, you have the opportunity to prioritize which Smarter Lunchrooms changes would benefit your food service operation and then implement those you view as most important prior to completing your HUSSC application. Okay. HUSSC applicants can apply for an award at 4 different levels. You'll see at the top of the slide, you can apply for bronze, silver, gold, and gold award of distinction. Below the award levels, you'll see the 3 application criteria subgroups found on an HUSSC application, and those are general criteria, additional criteria, and criteria for smart snacks. Under each of these 3 parts are subcategories, which we'll review next. All right. Under the general criteria, applicants will address that they are a Team Nutrition or TN school, their participation in the school meals programs, that they are 6 Sense certified, and their breakfast and lunch average daily participation or ADP. Under the criteria for Smart Snacks category, applicants will address their compliance with Smart Snacks regulations and additional Smart Snacks criteria for higher award levels that we'll review in upcoming slides. And under the additional criteria category, applicants will address nutrition education, physical activity, their local school wellness policy, and other criteria for excellence, which we'll also discuss later on. Okay, and we will begin with the overview of application requirements for those interested in applying at the bronze award level. Many schools like to start here and then apply for a higher award later on when their school or school district implements further positive changes. As I did mention, the silver, gold, and gold award of distinction award levels really build on the bronze award level, so you'll see a lot of reference to criteria and requirements being the same as the bronze. We'll go ahead and get started by reviewing the general criteria. All interested applicants, regardless of award level, must be enrolled as a Team Nutrition or TN school. If you're not already involved or enrolled, the link to do so is provided on the slide. It's a very simple process. It's something we encourage all schools to do regardless of whether you apply for an HUSSC award. Being a TN school gives you access to numerous resources and free materials like stickers, posters, and nutrition education curriculums. All applicants must also be enrolled in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs and offer reimbursable meals compliant with USDA's guidelines for both programs. In addition, all of the applicants' corrective actions from their most recent administrative review must be completed. And lastly, the applicant must be implementing 30 Smarter Lunchrooms techniques on the Smarter Lunchrooms scorecard. With their application, they can provide a copy of that completed scorecard and a brief summary with 2 to 3 pictures that describe and capture the school's overall Smarter Lunchrooms effort. Schools will likely find that they're already implementing many of those action items found on the scorecard. In fact, we believe on average, schools find that they're already implementing 30 or even more Smarter Lunchrooms techniques, which really already puts you at the bronze award level. All right. So although schools will no longer need to submit menus, school food authorities must be 6 Sense certified for all award levels. The overwhelming majority of schools in PA are already 6 Sense certified. For those of you who are not in food service, this means that your school went through a certification process demonstrating that they are serving breakfast and lunch menus that meet the federal guidelines established in the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act of 2010. For the bronze award level, providing your school or school district's average daily participation, or ADP, is actually not required at this level. This is the only award level where your ADP is not considered. And now we will move on to criteria for Smart Snacks. Applicants at all award levels must be meeting the Smart Snacks and school nutrition standards for competitive foods. Smart Snacks are the federal nutrition standards for all foods and beverages sold to students during the school day outside of the reimbursable school meals. This includes all areas in the school or district where foods are sold, including a la carte sales, vending machines, school stores, snack or food carts, and any food-based fundraising. As many of you know, USDA permitted state agencies to allow a small number of exempt food fundraisers in schools each school year. These exempt fundraisers are not required to meet the Smart Snacks criteria. In PA, for the 2014-15 school year, PDE's limit was 5 exempt fundraisers in each elementary and middle school building and 10 in each high school building. For the HUSSC, compliance with Smart Snacks and PDE's exempt fundraising policy is considered meeting the Smart Snacks criteria. Also note that PA's exempt fundraiser policy will be reconsidered for this upcoming school year, 2015-16, and that decision will be released in a memo from the Secretary of Education. So in addition to meeting the Smart Snacks and school standards, eligible applicants must also offer training on Smart Snacks criteria annually to all individuals who are involved in the sale of foods to students on the school campus during the school day. They may also not advertise or market foods or beverages that do not meet the Smart Snacks criteria to students. In other words, signs and marketing materials promoting these foods are not visible to students on the school campus and during that school day. Documentation of meeting these criteria includes evidence of a written policy and written communication or training for your school staff and parent organizations. Okay, on to the next slide. We'll now get into the additional criteria category for the bronze level. The first subcategory of the additional criteria is nutrition education. At the bronze level, nutrition education must be provided in elementary school to all full-day students in all grades and be a part of a structured and systematic unit of instruction. In middle school, nutrition education must be offered in at least 1 grade during the school year, and in high school, it must be offered in at least 2 courses that are required for graduation. At all age levels, nutrition education provided must be consistent with the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, or DGAs, MyPlate, and utilize team nutrition materials and multiple channels of communication, which can include classroom, cafeteria, and the home or parents and family. The second subcategory of additional criteria is physical education. At the bronze level, structured physical education, or PE, must be provided in elementary school. PE must be offered a minimum average of 45 minutes per week throughout the school year to all full-day students, and up to 20 of those 45 minutes may be met by providing structured physical activity that's planned by a certified PE teacher and then implemented by a classroom teacher or school administrator. All students must participate in these physical activities, which must be at least moderate intensity and in increments of at least 10 minutes. In middle school, it's required that structured PE be offered to at least 2 grades, and in high school, it's required that structured PE be offered in at least 2 courses. All right. And at all award levels, physical activity opportunities must be provided each day for all full-day students in elementary schools. Examples of physical activity opportunities include things such as scheduled recess, walking clubs, bike clubs, intramural sports, or a walk-to-school program. These opportunities for physical activity are offered in addition to physical education. In middle and high schools, students in all grades must be provided with opportunities to participate in physical activity throughout the school year. Examples at the middle and high school level would include intramural interscholastic sports or activity clubs. In addition, schools must actively promote participation in physical activity both in and out of schools to all students. Schools must reinforce physical activity and physical education messages by neither denying nor requiring physical activity as a means of punishment in all age grade levels. And hopefully this is already policy in your school or district. All right, the next component of additional criteria is local school wellness policy. All applicants must submit a copy of the school or district's wellness policy with their application, as well as provide some additional information about wellness. This additional information includes describing how parents, students, school administration, and staff, and the community are involved in the implementation of the local school wellness policy at your school, and listing 3 ways your school is working to meet the wellness policy goals. Examples could be including local wellness policy goals in your school improvement plan, completing and reporting the results of the School Health Index self-assessment process, and regular meetings of the School Wellness Committee. All applicants must also demonstrate a commitment to prohibiting the use of food as a reward, for example, prohibiting giving kids candy or children candy for good behavior. Also, as you mentioned under the physical education and activity sections, schools will also briefly describe on the HUSSC application that they are committed to neither denying nor requiring physical activity as a punishment. An example of this, of course, would be not denying recess as a punishment in your school. For the last subcategory of additional criteria, the Other Criteria for Excellence checklist provides interested applicants the flexibility to choose how to excel in wellness. Schools, depending on the award level they choose to apply for, must select a number of options from the 3 lists that are provided in USDA's Criteria Overview handout, and that is one of the handouts that you see in the download box on your screen. Bronze applicants must choose at least 2 of those 14 total options provided in those lists. This section of the HUSSC application was revised last year to reflect new initiatives and regulations, and it includes a variety of criteria of excellence that your school may be doing or could decide to begin doing as you work toward your HUSSC award goal. Some examples include implementing innovative ways to increase school breakfast participation, including some non-traditional service options such as breakfast in the classroom, operating the after-school snack program, the summer food service program, or implementing the community eligibility provision if feasible, providing annual training to staff on physical activity, nutrition, and wellness, engaging students via a wellness team that provides input that your school puts into action when feasible, offering after-school cooking classes, implementing farm-to-school initiatives like school gardens or offering local products in school meals, or joining the U.S. Plate Waste Challenge to reduce plate waste, and meeting or exceeding the new professional standards final rule requirements for school food service staff, managers, and directors. Okay, and now the exciting part. As we noted in the beginning of the presentation, a monetary incentive is available for each HUSSC award winner. At the bronze award level, your school will receive $500, and this is in addition to all the positive recognition within your school community for promoting healthy nutrition and physical activity in your school, and you'll also have an awesome banner to display. And now Jenny will continue with the silver award level.
Thanks, Kathleen. The general criteria are the same as for the bronze level, except that your school must be implementing 50 Smarter Lunchroom techniques, which is 20 more than what's required at the bronze level. At all award levels, you will need to submit a copy of your completed Smarter Lunchroom scorecard along with a brief summary and 2 to 3 photos that describe and capture your school's overall Smarter Lunchrooms effort. Although we realize that schools are excited to show the wonderful things you're doing to promote reimbursable meals and healthier choices in your lunchroom, you literally only need to submit a few photos, so you really don't need to make more work for yourselves than needed. Also, USDA requests that you submit only photos without students in them in order to avoid any privacy concerns. And keep in mind, too, that you may be very pleasantly surprised at how many Smarter Lunchroom action items are already being implemented in your cafeteria, and others that you can simply and inexpensively begin implementing as you work toward your HealthierUS School Challenge goal. You'll remember that average daily participation information was not required at the bronze award level. Now that we're moving into higher award levels, there are requirements for average daily participation for both breakfast and lunch. At the silver award level, the ADP must be at least 20% for breakfast at the elementary and middle school levels and 15% at the high school level. For lunch, the ADP must be at least 60% at elementary and middle school levels, and at least 45% at the high school level. For the purposes of the HUSSC application, average daily participation is based on attendance, and the numbers for breakfast and lunch participation that you enter in your application must be from the same month. Because the average daily participation is based on attendance rather than enrollment, this method of calculating ADP is considered more fair to schools because it does not include children who are absent, and also it doesn't include children who do not eat breakfast or lunch meals at school, such as part-day kindergartners. At the silver level, the criteria for Smart Snacks is exactly the same as at the bronze level, which means that your school must be meeting the federal Smart Snacks and School standards and be following PDE's guidelines for exempt fundraisers. So let's talk just a minute about what documentation you have to provide to show you are meeting Smart Snacks requirements for any snacks or beverages sold to students during the school day. At all award levels, the HUSSC application requires that you submit copies of the results page from the online Smart Snacks calculator, along with the product's nutrition facts labels and ingredient statements, or copies of those rather. For those of you who are unfamiliar, there is an online Smart Snacks calculator that allows you to enter the information from the nutrition facts label for your snack item or your beverage to see if it meets the Smart Snacks criteria. After you enter the information into the calculator, there's a results page that comes up that you'll want to print out to indicate that your item is compliant. And the HUSSC application actually has the link right within the application itself that will take you directly to the online calculator. Most likely, the majority of snack items and drinks sold to students in school are sold through the food service department at your school. And this means that much of the work and documentation is probably already done for this part because school food service keeps Smart Snacks documentation on file for review purposes. So, and you also may find while you're going through the process of obtaining Smart Snacks information from the various groups in your school that there might be some groups that are not aware of these requirements. So this is really an excellent opportunity for education and getting the school completely compliant with federal law. The nutrition education requirements at all grade levels are the same for silver as they are for bronze. Again, nutrition education has to be consistent with the dietary guidelines for Americans and MyPlate, and it should include team nutrition materials and multiple channels of communication, including in the classroom, through the cafeteria, and communication sent home to families and parents. This section of the HUSSC application is very straightforward. It doesn't require that you submit any additional documentation. In the application, there are basically boxes for you to indicate the grade level receiving the nutrition education that you're describing, a short description of the nutrition education efforts, and then you indicate the communication channel being used. USDA asked for concise descriptions of just a few sentences in the application. For nutrition education, they want to see that your school community is receiving positive, consistent nutrition messages in a variety of ways or channels. Most importantly, students should be receiving systematic classroom-based nutrition education. But some other examples include nutrition newsletters that are sent home to families, and MyPlate or team nutrition posters displayed or rotated in the school cafeteria. And if your school still has old MyPyramid resources hanging around, now's a great time to replace those with the MyPlate resources, which are free online. The small little thing up in the corner of the slide has the website, choosemyplate.gov, where you can find those. The physical education requirements for the Silver Award are the same as at the bronze level. As a reminder, PE has to be offered a minimum average of 45 minutes per week in elementary school throughout the year, and up to 20 of those 45 minutes of physical education may be met through structured physical activity planned by a certified PE teacher and implemented by either a classroom teacher or a school administrator. In middle school, structured physical education must be offered to at least 2 grades, and in high school, it's required that structured physical education be offered in at least 2 courses. You will see when looking at the HUSSC application that there are spaces for you to briefly describe how your school offers structured physical education and physical education in the application. Physical activity requirements for the Silver Award are also the same as at the bronze level, and in fact, these will also be the same for gold and gold award of distinction. And again, remember that your school or district must be reinforcing its positive physical activity and physical education messages by neither denying or requiring physical activity as a means of punishment. The local school wellness policy is another component that remains the same at all award levels. Again, you need to submit a copy of your policy and also answer a couple of questions on how your school or district is implementing the policy and involving different community stakeholders in the wellness process. It's probably becoming clear to you that to be an HUSSC award-winning school really requires a team effort. Having a strong wellness policy as your starting point and an active wellness committee at your school are really important in promoting a healthy school environment. Also, hopefully some of you listening are willing to act as a wellness champion in your school or to find others in your school who can act as wellness champions to promote the HUSSC. Having strong wellness advocates helps to generate energy and excitement in your school and ideally get that all-important buy-in from teachers, food service, other school staff, your administrators, parents, and of course students. Finally, schools applying for the Silver Award must select at least 4 of the 14 criteria for excellence that Kathleen summarized for you earlier, and this is 2 more than are required at the bronze level. Silver Award recipients of the HUSSC will be awarded $1,000 per school.
All right, on to our next level, gold. For all of you folks who really go above and beyond in your schools and you have high average daily participation in the school meal programs, we'll now go through what's required of you to apply at this level. All right, so on to the next slide. Okay, The general criteria to apply at the Gold Award level remain the same. I want to take a moment to mention that if you are unsure whether your school is registered as a TN school, you can check right on USDA's website. We have the link at the end of the presentation, but you can also type in Team Nutrition application on any search engine and find it easily. Also, if it's been many years since your school registered, maybe you've had a turnover or want to update some information, you should fill out the form again and check off the box at the top indicating that you're updating your TN registration. It only takes about 5 minutes to fill out the form, and this way your Team Nutrition school leader, food service manager, and principal will be correct in the database. The required number of Smarter Lunchrooms action items at this level is the same as Silver, so 50 Smarter Lunchroom scorecard items are required to apply at the Gold level. The Gold Award requires significantly higher average daily participation levels. So for breakfast, the ADP must be at least 35% at the elementary and middle school level and 25% at the high school level. For lunch, the ADP must be at least 75% at the elementary and middle school level, while in the high school level, it must be at least 65%. Criteria for Smart Snacks at the Gold level must meet the same criteria for Bronze and Silver with 2 additional standards. First, schools applying for Gold must allow only food-related fundraisers that do meet the USDA Smart Snacks in School standards, even if the state allows exemptions. So in other words, your school cannot be allowing any exempt fundraiser to apply. Your school cannot be allowing any exempt fundraisers at all to apply for HUSSC at the Gold level. On the HUSSC application, you'll demonstrate this by providing a brief statement explaining how the school meets these criteria. Also, you'd provide a list of school-sponsored fundraisers along with product labels and ingredient statements for foods used for fundraising if applicable. If your school only allows non-food fundraising, then of course you don't have to worry about submitting any food labels. The second additional criteria for the Gold Award says that when foods and beverages are sold to students at events outside of the school day, your school must also offer and promote healthy options, including water, fruits, and veggies. Here again, you'd provide a brief statement explaining how your school does this, and you need to submit documentation of meeting these criteria. This could include a written school policy or instructions for those who sell foods to students on the school campus. At the Gold level, nutrition education requirements are the same at the elementary school and high school levels as they are for Bronze and Silver applicants. Middle school requirements vary a little bit from Bronze and Silver in that nutrition education must be offered in at least 2 grades in middle school instead of 1. To be eligible for the Gold Award, physical education must be offered a minimum average of 90 minutes per week throughout the school year in elementary schools. As with the other award levels, physical activity is permitted to count toward the PE requirement. Up to 45 minutes of those 90 minutes may be met by providing structured physical activity planned by a certified PE teacher and implemented by a classroom teacher or administrator. Remember that all students in the school need to participate in the physical activities, and the activities should be moderate intensity and in increments of at least 10 minutes in order to count. Physical education requirements at the middle school and high school levels are the same as they are for Bronze and Silver. Physical activity requirements at the Gold level are the same as they are for Bronze and Silver levels. But one thing to note is that if you're in elementary school and you list structured classroom physical activity as part of your physical education requirement, make sure that you do not also list it on the physical activity page because you can only include it once in your application. Local school wellness policy requirements are the same at all award levels, as you guys have already heard. I will just say a few words about wellness policies and where you can find your school's policy. All schools that participate in the school breakfast and national school lunch programs are required by law to have a wellness policy. If you're unfamiliar with your school's policy, you may be able to find it on the school district website. It's frequently found under the school board heading and then listed under board policies. In Pennsylvania, many districts use the same numbering system for board policies, and student wellness is often number 246. If you can't access your wellness policy online, you can ask for a copy at the school or district administrative office as well. As many of you know, in 2010, the Healthy Hungry Free Kids Act strengthened the requirements for wellness policies in schools. Although we're still waiting for a final rule from the USDA on how specifically these new requirements are to be implemented, what we do know is that the HUSSC and the new wellness requirements will work hand in hand. Finishing up the last component of additional criteria for gold, gold level applicants must choose at least 6 of the 14 total options provided in the other criteria for excellence list. Just a reminder that that other criteria for excellence list is in the criteria overview, the USDA document criteria, overview of criteria, and that's one of your download files in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Again, these are above and beyond areas where your school really shines by offering or providing extra services, higher standards, and extra opportunities for wellness in the school community. And the financial reward for a gold award recipient is $1,500. Okay, and on to our last award of the day, award level of the day. Gold Award of Distinction, which is the highest HUSSC certification that's awarded. Again, we have all the same general requirements. The difference is that Gold Award of Distinction applicants are required to be implementing 70 of the Smarter Lunchroom techniques as indicated on the Smarter Lunchroom scorecard. ADP requirements at the Gold Award of Distinction level are the same as they are for Gold. For breakfast, the ADP must be at least 35% in elementary school and middle school and 25% at the high school level. For lunch, the ADP must be at least 75% in elementary school and middle school and at least 65% in high school. Gold Award of Distinction applicants are expected to go beyond gold level requirements for Smart Snacks in school. So in addition to the gold level Smart Snacks requirements, Gold Award of Distinction applicants must show that the majority, meaning 51% or more, of school-sponsored events conducted outside of the school day include only non-food items or only foods and beverages that meet or exceed the Smart Snacks in school nutrition standards. In the HUSSC application, there's a space where you would describe in a couple of sentences, just a couple of sentences, how your school meets the standard if you're applying at the Gold Award of Distinction level. You would also include documentation to support this, including a list of school-sponsored fundraisers during the past year and a copy of written policy or guidance. At the Gold Award of Distinction level, nutrition education requirements are the same at the elementary school level and high school levels as they are at the bronze, silver, and gold levels, and middle school requirements are the same as they are at the gold level. All right. The physical education requirement for Gold Award of Distinction is higher than the other award levels for the elementary school, in elementary school. Physical education must be offered in elementary school a minimum average of 150 minutes per week throughout the school year, and up to 45 minutes of this time may be met by providing structured physical activity planned by a certified PE teacher and then implemented by a classroom teacher or school administrator, and that you've heard already. Physical education requirements at the middle school and high school levels remain the same as they are for bronze, silver, and gold. Okay. Physical activity requirements at the Gold Award of Distinction level are the same as they are for bronze, silver, and gold levels, as well as the local school wellness policy requirements. And finally, for other criteria for excellence, it's required that Gold Award of Distinction applicants choose at least 8 of those 14 options provided in those lists. So it'll end up being from more than one category. And schools awarded at the Gold Award of Distinction level will receive $2,000. And now I will pass the presentation back on over to Jenny.
Thank you. You can find several resources on USDA's HUSSC Smarter Lunchrooms website, which we have listed at the top of the resource slide. Also, we've included the criteria overview document that we pointed out to you at the beginning of the presentation, the online application form, and the Smarter Lunchrooms Movement website and scorecard. The online application form it's a fillable PDF, and you can download it to your own computer and fill it in, and save it on your own computer and then submit it when you're ready. It's a very user-friendly document, actually. They have helpful tips, and there are links in there to take you to the places where you need to go, like the online calculator, for example. The HealthierUS School Challenge overlaps with some other great opportunities to receive recognition for your school or district's wellness efforts. The Alliance for a Healthier Generation and the USDA have announced a more streamlined approach to achieving national recognition through the Alliance's Healthy Schools program and USDA's HealthierUS School Challenge. You can learn more about how these two awards work together, and also how being a Let's Move active school can make the HUSSC application process easier by visiting the link that's on this slide. In a nutshell, your school automatically receives the HUSSC Bronze Award if you are designated an Alliance for a Healthier Generation's Healthy School. You'll simply submit a copy of your application approval email for the Healthy Schools program, and you're able to skip over the bulk of the HUSSC application. They just have check boxes throughout that you check off, and that basically makes it so you don't have to fill that section in. There are also a number of additional overlaps among the HUSSC, the Healthy Schools program, and Let's Move active schools. So please do check this out if your school has already achieved one of these designations or is working toward one of them. One of the handouts up in the corner, the overlap of awards, kind of gives you a nice little Venn diagram that I think the Alliance did that shows the overlap among the different awards, which I think you'll find helpful if you're already working on any of these or thinking about it. Before we move on to any questions you might have, we want to point out some tips for preparing and submitting your application. You can choose to submit your application electronically through the online application link on the resources slide, or by submitting it hard copy to us at PDE, the Division of Food and Nutrition. If you decide to submit it hard copy, you'll want to organize all your application materials in some kind of easy to navigate 3-ring binder kind of system. Using tabs to organize things is greatly encouraged and certainly appreciated by the different people who will be reviewing your application. Otherwise, you can submit it, you just email it, I think, to an email link they have on there if you want to do so electronically. If you need more room when you're providing information on the application, you certainly can attach additional pages, but do keep in mind that short, clear descriptions are generally all that's required and can make reviewing your application easier for the reviewers. And just remember, PDE and the USDA may ask for clarification if they have any questions while reviewing your application. Multiple schools can apply together. If the schools within your district provide the same nutrition education, physical education, and physical activities, sell the same smart snacks, foods, and beverages in the cafeteria and throughout campus, and if you follow the district's wellness policy, you can apply as a district. And in this case, you would just have to submit one Smart Snacks worksheet with a listing of the foods available and one set of supporting documentation. If your district finds that your schools don't overlap in all the categories, you can still apply as a district. Just be sure to make a note of the items that are different among the schools on the application worksheets, and then just submit separate documentation for those categories that are different. So basically, they want to make it, anything that overlaps, keep it the same, and that will save you some time. On the HUSSC website, there is an application cover sheet that you use when you apply as a district, and there's a district school list form where you would list out each of the schools that are applying on your district application. Well, this concludes our presentation, and we are about ready to move on to questions. We hope that the presentation was helpful to you in breaking down what the requirements are, and we are looking forward